Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you. And I think I have to listen. Because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day.
And we won't stop. We will not stop.
Sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright. It's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart. Doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
See this? How you cannot go
baby,
again?
baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, I know you guys like, oh, SP is going to be on. Well, yeah, but you know what? Today is a very busy day. So I just finished cooking. I had to cook, you guys, because I got a busy day today. I've got a meeting to go to at 5. So we're going to cut this short. And plus I got work. And plus I've got a class. So I wasn't going to come on, but I said, well, let's come on for maybe 30 minutes real quick because I wanted to share some with you. And I know you guys been looking for that car with the tag number 2812 with the Texas tag 2812, call 911 when you see it. Well, we've got an Amber Alert right here in my neck of the woods where they're looking for, I guess, a Toyota, and it's TeNika tags. And the last thing I seen on that was to, call 911, and the tag number was somewhat of the same. I do got a lot to do. So, but I wanted to share this little bit with you guys because we're waiting on information about the Cody Bixby case. You guys seen Cody Bixby on, that's why I played the little jingle for you. So you guys will never forget his face. But something dawned on me. Hey, soul sister, how you doing? And I see Soldier Girl, Lisa Taylor, Tina Power, Soldier Girl. I see Sanja Watts in the building. Diane Harris is here. Ruby Turner, Lisa Taylor, Nancy. Nancy, is that Nancy LaRose? Hold on. Which Nancy is that? Because we got two. Yeah, that's Nancy LaRose. We got Ruby Turner and we got Lisa Taylor. And so you guys just come on in, share the live, share the live. We're not going to stay on here long. And this is what I'm letting you guys know. Well, because it is a lot to do today. And, your girl, I got to take me a shower, okay? I've been running. I'm going to let you guys know. My card, again, been compromised. Ain't got nothing to do. I haven't been playing around with it, and things of that nature on the internet. Usually I do, and I be wondering, what did I get myself into? But it ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just, hey, one thing that the people told me, I got the phone call come Sunday. It's like, hey, somebody in Florida is trying to use your card or whatever. Do you have your card? I'm like, yes, I have my card. But so they got my number. How did they get my number? Well, if you be a little bit, you pay your bills with your card and things, anybody can get your card number. But what she said is, when you go to these restaurants to eat or something, don't hand them your card. Go to the ATM, get your money out, and you hand them money. Because when you hand them your card and then they go back, they can make a copy of your card. And guess what? You'll be, you'll be in a world of trouble. So quit using your cards so freely, okay? So that's one thing I wanted to share with you guys. And another thing I wanted to share with you, I haven't got to the bottom of it yet, but one of our family members sent me this article about it is pharmacists, and I don't know where it is. The place that I seen was like an African, little town in Africa, but I guess there's something here in the United States also is happening where the pharmacist has been giving Black little kids medication and it's taking them out. And it's targeting just Black little kids, and they're in a world of trouble. So if you got little kids or you got your grandkids, if it's cough syrup that they getting, hey, be careful. If whatever you're giving them, I don't care if it came from the pharmacist or the pharmacy. Be very careful, because for some unknown reason, they're doing either experiment or they're taking a lot of little Black kids out. But I didn't want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about this 3-year-old that was found rotten to death. You guys, it's shocking. It's the worst neglect in the world, okay? So I'm going to read the article, but I want you guys to reflect, because I do this type of work, or I was doing this type of work, home care, so I kind of understand what happened a little bit. And so anyway, let me just get into it. It says the horror of as a 3-year-old found after rotting to death in his own bed, and the parents' name is TeNika and Williams and Ephraim Allen. They both was charged, okay? It says 2 parents have been arrested after they allegedly neglected their 3-year-old child until he rotted to death. This is crazy. TeNika Williams, 24, and Ephraim Allen Jr., 25, was charged with manslaughter after the comatose boy died earlier this month at their home in Bartow, Florida, about 40 miles, west from Tampa. So I showed you guys the picture of the mama. She's 24. The boy was 3, so she had the baby. She was 21. She probably got pregnant when she's 20. But I'm gonna let you guys know what happened. It says when first responders arrived at the home on May the 12th, they found the boy's lifeless body covered in sores and gaping wounds. The child was rotting in the bed. Okay, now you got to remember, down there in Florida, they got the sheriff down there named Grady Jude, right? I think that's his last name, Jude. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you guys know him as Grady. Grady don't play. So far, he has been the best chief of police or sheriff that I've ever seen. He goes after people and he just do not play. So anyway, he did a press conference. I haven't got time to look at the press conference, but I guarantee you, he did the press conference because I talked to Zam, woke the God, and we were talking about this. So this is what Grady said. The boy had no rectum, and his colon, intestines, and spinal column were visible through a hole in the corpse. Soldier Girl says, I'm having the same problems with people taking online loans and PayPal in my name. Girl, you just gonna, hey, just take the card. Like I said, only thing they need is your card number, and boom. They just know one thing: I'm not in Florida. I couldn't even afford to go to Florida, and I normally don't, use that card for anything. But I was kind of surprised they picked it up. Anyway, the child, who has not been identified, had been in a comatose state since 2020. Now, remember, she had this baby in 2020, right? Or she was pregnant. She had the baby in 2020. No, she had to have the baby in 2020. The baby has been in a comatose state since 2020. Let me tell you what happened. At 10 months old, okay, in 2020, he fell into a pool at a vacation home where the family was staying and nearly drowned. That's in 2020. This boy fell in the pool. So they say. Okay, now I'm getting to wondering what's really going on. The doctors recommended that the boy be taken off life support, but the parents refused and brought him home on a ventilator and with a tube in his stomach. So that's a G tube, and that's the only way they were feeding this child, through a G tube, okay? Because if you got a tube in your stomach and you're on a ventilator, you're going to have nurse assistants to come in and take care of you, because, that's what nurses, when they come into the home, that's what they do. They kind of relieve the family away from all the burden of taking care of the kid, and they can either sleep, they can, go out, have a good time, take care of the other kids, and not worry, because you have somebody that's skilled and qualified to change that child, feed the child, turn the child, from side to side every 2 hours. That's just the normal thing to do. They be on ventilators. And that's what I usually work with: children on ventilators and G-tubes, trachs, things of this nature. So I know pretty much what was going on here. So for a time, they were receiving in-home health care for the boy on a regular basis. So like I said, nurses was coming in, and they probably had him on a 24-hour. Like, she really didn't have to do nothing. If she didn't want them to come in, she could just say, hey, look here, I want to spend time with my child, but today, like, I don't want a nurse here. I want to do it. So they can always do that, but you don't want to do that, because you actually need them nurses to come in and help. But anyway, Williams, this is the mother, she was also getting a check from the government to care for him. So, you get a huge check when a child is in this kind of state. And I've had plenty of kids that was in a comatose state, or they was paralyzed from the neck down, and just they laid in the bed. Or, you would think, like, why would a parent keep them alive? But sometimes, they sometimes, you have moments where they might smile, they may move or grunt or something every time when you say, hey, hey, hey. Like, say, for instance, there's a kid, his name is Bobby. And I used to go out of state. I would go every weekend and stay for two days and take care of him. And he was like a vegetable, right? And I thought to myself, I'm like, he can't move, he can't get up, he can't say nothing, he can't. I mean, his eyes sometimes open up or whatever, but that's about it. But I mean, why would somebody want to keep this kid alive like that? Because it's just crazy to me. Well, and so I stayed with the family for a while, I did. I tried to do the best I could, but the mother came in one time and she said to me, she said, sometimes he'll smile. And I got to see him smile one time. And I said, wow. So even though that they might be, there's hope, like how can you put someone to death when, if they smile? I don't know if it's smile or it's just a muscle reaction or something, but the family felt like that. So, wow, I kind of was like, now I see. But anyway, this mother was receiving checks from the government. She probably received $2,000-$3,000 for this one child. And she didn't have to pay for the nurses. The state pays for the nurses and all his equipment, all his medical equipment. And so, but anyway, but last year the family switched to a different nursing company, and they ultimately they stopped letting the aides into their home in October, and they call them aides. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not gonna be an aide, not with this severe uh, um, health concerns. It just can't be, because you got the ventilator, you got your machine, life support system that you have to go to school to understand what all those whistles and bells are that's ringing and dinging and stuff. And that's the main thing. But then you also have to go and understand, like they didn't feed him with, like he didn't have a trach because he got no voice. He's in a coma. He's basically just laying there. His eyes probably wasn't even open. He just laying there, and they were feeding him and changing him and all this stuff. But they say, but last year the family switched to a different nursing company and ultimately stopped letting the aides into their home in October. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 5, 6, 7, 8. May, June. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out, about 8 months ago, okay, should be called assistants because they need some care. Yeah, well, yeah, they're actually nurses. Trust me. I don't know why they said that right there. They have to be. I'm just being honest with you. And yeah, that kind of care pays big money. What I'm saying is, you can have somebody on an O2 stat or something, oximeter or something, and you're not going to get that much money. But when you have someone in this type of situation, they're going to pay top pay, because you need to know what to do, and what those whistles and bells mean, and then when to do it. So the parent have said they last saw the boy alive on May the 11th. Okay, they said this was the last time they seen him alive. Now remember, they called 911 on May the 12th. Now let me get off into the story real quick and share with you guys what's done happened. That's right, they need top care. That's the same as the lady never ordered her foster child medication for 2 months and the child passed away. Yeah. So they said that they last seen this child May the 11th. Alive. That's what the parents said. He was alive. May the 11th, he was alive. So TeNika, that's the mama, TeNika Williams, called 911 on May the 12th. Now, remember, I just said, they said they last seen him alive the day before. But she called 911 on May the 12th to report an issue with the child's pulsimeter. Now, that's an oximeter, you guys. That's just a little thing that you put on the finger or you put on your toe, and it tells you how much oxygen that's going in and out, It's usually 90 and above. Anything under that, you need to really be in the hospital. There is people that can and will survive under 90, but it's rare. But there are people. I've had some kids that 85 was just their norm, and that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? But normally anything under 90, you need to go to the hospital, okay? Because you're not getting enough oxygen. And you guys know what happened. If you don't get enough oxygen, you pass out, okay? Your brain can not function right. You can't think well when you lack oxygen, okay? So you don't want to lack oxygen. So anyway, she calls 911 on May the 12th to report an issue with the child's oximeter, but claimed it wasn't emergency. She told the 911 lady, hey, it wasn't emergency. When she was like, it's not working. It probably just said 0. And she didn't know what to do because it's not working. Okay? When the first responders arrived, they transported the boy to the hospital where he was declared dead. See, because I told you guys, it has nothing to do with if you are not an ME or a doctor, you cannot say that child died there. Even though that he was dead, you still got to take him to the hospital. You can't say it. I don't care how good you are, what, degree you have. They transported him to the hospital where he was declared dead. That's letting you know he was already dead. So, in addition to his wounds, a medical examiner determined the child was suffering from sepsis and pneumonia. That means he had an infection all through his body that was almost like gangrene. It just took over his body, and nobody knew about it. But the parents said they were hesitant to call for help because they were worried their other 2 children, aged 2 and 10 months, would be taken from them. So this young lady got 2 other kids, one age 2 and another one 10 months. Exactly. Wow, that's 3 kids she got. She's 24 and she's had this kid. This kid drowned. They got him out. He's in a coma. She went and had another kid. He's 2. And now she just got another kid, and he's 10 months. The same age as the one that just died when he drowned in the pool. That ultimately what happened. The other children are now in custody of the Florida Department of Children and Families. See, now, let me tell you guys, sometimes I know we get angry with CPS, but sometimes, and I say this because people get mad at me and they be like, why are you taking their side? I don't. Sometimes child services is a good thing because these kids, they got nowhere to go. Or maybe they do got somewhere to go, but you gotta figure that out. You just can't hand them to the family now. Because remember, they was on family vacation when the 10-month-old fell in the water. So we don't know if the whole family thinks like this mama think or whatever. But nevertheless, the Florida Department of Children and Families has these kids. Now, so Grady, you got to know Grady. Grady says, I've done this for 5 decades. I have seen thousands of children abused, hundreds of children murdered at the hands of parents, Jew said. I have never seen the horror that we saw with this poor child at the hands of these 2 folks. Man. But the boy parents have claimed that they did not neglect their oldest son. He is the oldest son because he would be 3 going on 4. They said they didn't neglect him. William and Alan are each being held on a $100,000 bond. Polk County Grady described it as one of the worst cases he's ever seen in his career, spanning over 50 years. Okay? That is crazy. He was saying something right there. Let me see if I can catch it. They got some four pictures. I just wish one of them had it where that's crazy. That is crazy. I'm gonna tell you something. She's saying, and this is why I wanted to talk to you guys for a little bit. She's saying that they did not neglect their child, but since October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 months. 8 months, this child didn't have a rectum. That makes me think, like, was they actually really coming in and helping? Or was they, because I'm going to tell you guys something. I've never done it, but I've seen other people do it. And they do it a lot. And sometimes I don't see nothing wrong with it because, hey, if you have an agreement, then that's the agreement. But some nurses, they'll be like, hey, I'm getting paid. Just say, for instance, I'm getting paid $10 an hour. It's going to be way more than that. But I'm just going to use that example. Instead of that, I get $10 an hour. Let me go ahead and clock this 40 hours for the week. And so $10 an hour, 40 hours, that's $400. So I get $400, right? Because 10 times 40, 400. If you let me go ahead and clock this, I'll give you $100, but I can't come in every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you that money. And a lot of people, they'll go, okay. But I'm going to tell you something. It puts you and put their license at danger. I would never do it. I've had people come to me and say something like that, like, why don't you just come in just 2 days and go ahead and say you've been here the whole week, and then we'll split some money or something. But sometimes things like that, it happens. I'm not saying nothing bad about it, because sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I know there's people that do stuff like that, but it's just, that's the way it happens. But it puts the patient at risk. So unless they know what they're doing, be very careful, because 10 months, this boy had no rectum. I believe that this happened way before the mother stopped letting him come in. A whole rectum is gone. It takes longer than 10 months. I mean, it wasn't no bugs that ate him. So, like, he must have just, they never changed him. They just let him lay there. They never turned him. And of course, sepsis stepped in, because guess what? You got poop. You still have body functions. So you got poop. And I don't know if he had a colostomy bag or whatever. I know, you guys, this sounds terrible. But evidently he didn't have a colostomy bag, so he probably did still defecate, and they just let him lay there in it, never changed the bed. I mean, I can just imagine how it smelled. Never changed the linen, never turned him for 10 months. How could you just let someone lay in that state without changing them and turning them? I mean, he had to have a diaper on. If they have a tube in your stomach and food is coming in, then food has to come out some kind of way, you guys. It just don't stay in there forever. So when she said that they seen this boy alive the day before, I'm just not understanding how this boy did not have a rectum. Zena said, when it comes to wounds, it can happen very quickly. Yes, I get that. I understand that, Zena. But a whole rectum, I'm just saying, she said she seen this boy the day before. The smell itself would have let her know something ain't white about the milk. You guys understand what I'm saying? The smell itself would have let you know. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be a nurse. You don't have to be an MD. The rottenness, the wounds that he has, it just seems like he had ulcers on. When people say, when you say ulcer, it's like an ulcer, like, oh, something hurt. There's different kind of ulcers. There's the ones I'm talking about is, I was a wood care. You was a wood care nurse. You mean wound? You mean wound care? Well, let me share this with you. You know, you could be a wound care nurse, but you're going to smell it. That's what I'm saying. And good. I hope you did good work. I'm pretty sure you did. Wound care. I'm pretty sure you did do good work. But you're going to smell that. It's not something that you can just, once you open up the room, you open up the door. They said he had no rectum, you guys, and you could see his intestines from a hole in his butt. It wasn't even his rectum no more. It was just a hole. That literally took time. Had to. There's no way in the world you seen this kid the day before. I'm not saying he wasn't alive, because he could, because he was in a coma. But you did not never change his diaper, change his bedding, never fed him. No, maybe they did feed him. Maybe they did. Think about it. It's just a machine. Maybe they did feed him. But so you just put the food in the little thing and let it go down. Because feeding, you don't need to be alive to put a feeding machine on somebody. And maybe he was still alive. I'm wondering what they're going to say on the autopsy, because she acting like he was alive yesterday. And he could be. He just was rotting to death. Rotting to death in his own bed, you guys. And she was scared. She said this is the thing. She was scared to call 911 because they would take the other kids. Here's the thing. That means that you knew something wasn't right. Why would you be scared for them to take the other kids if you're just calling because the oximeter thing ain't working? Why would they take your other kids because the oximeter thing ain't working? Freddie said he barely was alive. Probably. How could they stand to let their baby lay there and rotten to death? Exactly. The infection would, Blondie PT says infection would have caused neurotic tissues and the smell would have been atrocious. No way they didn't know. Exactly. I'm telling you, the smell of rotten flesh and poop and pee-pee, it stinks, you guys. It stinks. And when I say it stink, it's a stink that if you get it on you, you could take 2-3 baths. It may not come off until you take about the 10th one. Sometimes when you walk in a room and the infection that they have in there, you're going to smell it. You're going to smell the stench, okay? There's it doesn't, I see it all the time, you guys, where somebody, and they have wounds, bed sores, whatever. And it might be no bigger than a dime or a quarter. And it stunk. And it stunk a lot. You guys understand what I'm saying? So just imagine this boy got no rectum. And she said they were scared they was going to take their other kids. Why? Because you're trying to say the oximeter thing not working? You knew this boy was dead. And you guys knew that, guess what? He was rotting to death. You know? And it probably started with the other, like I said, on the first nurses. You guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I didn't want to get off into it, but she said everyone, they was trying to keep that baby as long as they could for the money. Exactly. Latoya, you hit it right there. So Blondie says that you have a smell, an infection wound when you just walk into a room. Exactly. Come on. You're going to smell it. They just didn't care and wanted that check. Exactly. So you guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I know it is the beginning of the month. I mean, this is the first Monday of the month. And you guys know we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to all take care of our business. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. I will see you guys Wednesday. When I get in the house Wednesday, I'm going to sleep really good. So I still may not have my hair done until maybe Friday. That's what I see, because the way things is going, I'm busy all the way up until Friday. So I can get rest really Thursday. All right, you guys, I'm going to get off of here. And like I said, I'm glad that you found us, Blondie. We come on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys have your face in a place. There is no updates on Corey going to court. There's no updates on Tyree Nichols' case, because you know they were supposed to go to court today. So I'm waiting to hear what happened in court. You guys are waiting too. So maybe Wednesday we'll get all that information, okay? I'll be looking for it. All right, you guys. Oh, and another thing. You guys would be so proud of me. Remember my score was 40 on my math? I have moved it up to 51 right now. So I've been working really hard. It's going to slow down because it's getting harder and harder. But I'm just letting you guys know. I'm working on it. Anyway, you guys, be good, be safe, and be nice to each other. Let me say bye.